Tonight, war with Iran. Chaos across the Middle East.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!
As the conflict widens.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat.
The growing death toll for Americans and Iranians.
We have every right, every legitimate right to defend ourselves.
The frightening new images of war.
The hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military.
And the concerns of a terror attack on American soil. Plus, the people taking to the streets of Tehran, to New York, and Los Angeles. Voices of hope.
We're very happy Khomeini finally is dead after 47 years.
Resilience.
I have a duty to my homeland to speak up for my people so that we can all be free.
And fear.
They're going to install another authoritarian regime that dances to their own tune.
This is an ABC News special.
Remembering the hostage crisis that launched this show. War with Iran. Nightline special coverage. Tonight is day 3. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with the war in Iran. It's an escalating campaign with both sides digging in. President Trump now says it could likely take several weeks or even longer. Iran targeting U.S. military bases in the region. ABC's Marcus Moore joins us from Doha, Qatar. Marcus.
Byron, we are learning that 2 Iranian drones have struck the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh. This information coming from 2 U.S. officials and initial estimates from the Saudi Ministry of Defense. U.S. officials said the embassy was relatively empty at the time, given that it was overnight hours, and that no one is believed to have been injured, but that there is still believed to be an ongoing threat to the embassy. An official spokesperson for the Saudi Ministry of Defense said the strikes resulted in a, quote, limited fire and minor damage to the building. The State Department also issued an alert advising Americans in Saudi Arabia to shelter in place immediately. This is the second U.S. embassy to sustain damage in Iranian drone strikes today, the first one in Kuwait. And Byron, Americans in the region have been told to leave the Middle East over security concerns. Byron.
Marcus, thank you. The U.S. wiped out much of Iran's leadership in those deadly strikes over the weekend. Iran swiftly retaliating, the conflict now spreading to at least 10 countries. In Tehran, the sounds of war. Multiple explosions across Iran's capital city. With U.S. Israeli military operations striking for a third day. And tonight, just hours ago, Iran hitting back. 2 drones striking the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, causing minor damage to the building, but no injuries reported. At least 10 countries in the region now involved in the fight. Americans are being urged to leave the Middle East. U.S. Central Command saying bombers and missiles have hit more than 1,200 targets, all in the last 48 hours. In his first live public remarks since Operation Epic Fury began, President Trump standing firm.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime.
6 U.S. service members were killed in a retaliatory strike on a U.S. military base in Kuwait. 18 others severely injured across the region.
In that particular case, it happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons.
CENTCOM saying it's destroyed all 11 Iranian ships in the Gulf of Oman, including this one. This stunning footage of an American F-15 fighter. You can see the smoke falling from the sky in a spin. It's one of 3 F-15s that the Pentagon confirmed were mistakenly shot down by Kuwait in a friendly fire incident. All 6 crew members ejected safely and survived.
You're safe, you're safe.
This video showing one U.S. pilot being offered help, thanked by a Kuwaiti on the ground. The early Saturday morning mission, taking out 86-year-old Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and key members of the regime's leadership. This new video showing the moment Khamenei's compound was hit. The CIA had been tracking the Ayatollah for months, down to his daily routine. President Trump saying today the Supreme Leader was having breakfast at the time of the attack and thought it was safe because it was broad daylight. Iran saying at least 550 people in the country have been killed. 150 of them, according to state media, dying in an airstrike on a girls' school in the southern city of Manab. The U.S. now investigating, insisting it would never deliberately attack civilians. Verified videos also showing damage to a hospital in Tehran, shattered glass strewn across the floor. Iran's promised retaliation was immediate.
Oh my God.
Lashing out on American allies like the city of Dubai, from its airports to high-end hotels like the Fairmont. The hotel saying it's still fully operational. Iran also launching a fierce assault on U.S. bases around the region, including Bahrain and Israel.
We have every right, every legitimate right to defend ourselves. What the United States is doing is an act of aggression.
The regime has kept a firm grip on power for nearly 50 years. The U.S.-backed Shah was overthrown in the 1979 revolution. Iran virtually overnight transformed to an Islamic state hostile to the West, headed by Ayatollah Khomeini. In late 1979, more than 50 Americans were taken hostage by revolutionaries at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. Our program, Nightline, was born of that crisis.
Good evening. This is a new broadcast.
Then anchor Ted Koppel reporting nightly on the hostages' plight, which lasted for 444 days.
By and large, it was hostages day and night. And people tuned in from all over the country.
On the streets of Tehran today, closed shops and few pedestrians. Over the weekend, a mix of reactions. Some celebrating the Ayatollah's death, others chanting, "Death to America." Questions lingering about what's next for Iran's people and who will lead the country. We turn now to ABC's senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, joining us from the White House. Rachel.
Byron, the president is adamant that the United States will prevail in this new war he just launched in the Middle East. But tonight, the administration is sending mixed messages. And there's still one big question. Was there an imminent threat to the United States?
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people.
President Trump today offering a new rationale for launching Operation Epic Fury in Iran.
The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America.
But American intelligence agencies believe Iran would not have had missiles capable of reaching the U.S. for another 9 years. The president had previously said the operation was about regime change. Today, he declared the United States will easily prevail.
We have the strongest and most powerful, by far, military in the world, and we will easily prevail.
President Trump dismissing concerns he'll tire of the fight if it lasts beyond the 4 to 5 weeks he's projected.
Somebody said today, they said, oh, well, if the president wants to do it really quickly. After that, he'll get bored. I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this.
The commander-in-chief sending muddled messages on how it will all end and what he sees as Iran's next chapter now that the supreme leader has been killed. The president telling our John Carl that before the strikes, he had identified some possible future leaders of Iran, but saying the attack was so successful it knocked out most of the candidates, adding it's not going to be anybody that they were thinking of because they're all dead. Second or third place is dead. Today I asked the president about the prospect of American boots on the ground.
Mr. President, are you considering sending troops in? Will you send troops in?
But he did not answer. President Trump has long said the U.S. should not be in the business of regime change and vowed not to lead the U.S. into foreign conflicts.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
Now the president insisting the U.S. had little choice but to act.
This was our last best chance to strike.
The hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio today offering an evolving rationale, now saying Israel was about to attack Iran and that the U.S. attacked Iran to defend itself from Iran's potential retaliation.
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded.
The president did not seek congressional authorization for his campaign. Still, many Republicans in Congress giving their seal of approval.
And it is clear that Iran poses a serious risk to America's national security interests, as well as those of our allies and partners.
But not all Republicans agree. Megyn Kelly saying on her show,
no one should have to die for a foreign country. I don't think those 4 service members died for the United States.
Democrats, however, sounding the alarm.
Congress must act to rein in Donald Trump's belligerence.
Our thanks to Rachel. Joining us now, retired Lieutenant General Doug Lute, former U.S. ambassador to NATO. General, thank you for joining us. President Trump is talking about regime change, and history tells us that can be a difficult and bloody task. Do you think the Iranian people are in a position to rise up and make that happen?
No, I don't, especially because, first of all, the protest movement in Iran has suffered very heavy attrition, brutal attrition at the hands of the regime over the last couple months. So their ranks are much diminished from what they were. And then second of all, they still faced a very entrenched security system. And the security structure in Iran, so the IRGC Quds Force, the Basish security forces, are the ones who own the weapons. So there's a dominance in power here, and I don't see that as an equation for the popular uprising, assuming control.
General, we're hearing tonight that the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia has been targeted. This is the second U.S. embassy to sustain damage, as you know, in an Iranian drone strike. Today, should we be expecting more of these kinds of strikes?
Absolutely. Look, from an Iranian targeter's perspective, embassies are soft targets. Most of them are not protected by the kind of defensive system. So think the Patriot missile interceptors that our military bases have as defensive systems. So these are soft targets. They're also very lucrative political targets because they're striking right at the symbols of American presence in the region. And that, of course, is an attractive target to Iran these days.
General Lute, thank you, sir, for your service to our nation, and thank you for your time tonight. We are grateful.
Thank you.
Now to the fears about a terror attack on American soil amid the war with Iran. Law enforcement around the country on high alert, especially after a gunman opened fire at a bar in Texas wearing a T-shirt with the Iranian flag. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas.
Today, FBI officials confirming that they're urgently trying to determine why that gunman who went on a murderous rampage in Austin, Texas, was wearing a T-shirt bearing the flag of Iran only hours after the U.S. launched that massive attack, killing the supreme leader. You can see that T-shirt in the startling new photograph of the gunman who was killed in a confrontation with police early Sunday morning. The gunman seen here holding a rifle wearing a sweatshirt with the words, "Property of Allah," officially identified as Jaga Jung, 53, a U.S. naturalized citizen originally from Senegal. Sources telling ABC News, in addition to the flag, authorities have discovered writings about Iran and its leadership after searching his car and other properties. More than a dozen wounded, 2 killed. Today we learned their identities. 2 college students, one from Texas Tech and the other from the University of Texas, Austin.
Our thanks to Pierre. Up next, those taking to the streets around the nation, speaking out in support and opposition. People across the country are showing their support and opposition to the war against Iran, some sharing their hopes for the future. Our Ashin Singh is on the ground at a demonstration here tonight in New York City.
Freedom for Iran!
In the heart of New York City, a wave of Iranian flags. Demonstrators coming out in droves after U.S. strikes on Iran killed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini and dozens of the regime's senior leaders. In the crowd, people of all ages coming out to make their voices heard.
You here with your family. What does it mean to be able to share this moment with your son?
We are happy what we have experienced. Our, next generation is privileged to live in a country with freedom, liberty, and we don't want them to take it as granted.
There is no other way.
Amid the chorus of voices, it's the youngest that are the loudest. Jasmine Nursami is Iranian-American, just 22 years old. She spent her entire life here in the U.S., but the pages of her family's history book are marked by a homeland left behind.
War is scary. You in the diaspora, I feel like you get a set of mixed feelings because you're like, of course, I'm terrified for the civilians and my family, but you're also like, my people need help.
It is the interest.
All weekend long, protesters across the country coming out in mass. From Los Angeles to North Carolina to Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Iowa, New England, and beyond.
For war and occupation.
Many celebrating the fall of an authoritarian regime.
We're very happy Khomeini finally is dead after 47 years.
Others opposing U.S. involvement in the Middle East.
We're sending our young over to this part of the world, and they're dying. And it's not for our benefit. It's not for the benefit of the Iranians.
Right now, we are witnessing the horror of an unnecessary, unprovoked war of choice waged by the Trump administration.
In L.A. this weekend, home to the largest diaspora of Iranians in the country. Many feeling joy.
We've been hostage for 47 years. We are looking forward to visit our country after all these years. So we are excited.
And anxiety.
We have family there. So, I mean, it's what it is. It's for us, it's extremely, nerve-wracking. We want our families first and foremost safe.
Freedom for Iran!
Jasmine says her parents left Iran more than 2 decades ago.
They came here with 2 suitcases. They had absolutely nothing. And they built their lives up.
It's a story told time and time again. For so many Iranian Americans, love of family is why they left their homes in the first place. It's that same love that gives many anxious hope for what the future could hold.
The people of Iran, I think, are the bravest people on this planet. We have protested against this regime from their inception. And I think being brave and strong like that runs in our blood. And that resilience will forever triumph any evil with this regime.
Democracy for Iran!
Our thanks to Ashin. We'll be right back. And finally tonight, we are reminded this very broadcast, Nightline, was born out of conflict between the United States and Iran. It started with the Iran hostage crisis in November 1979. 66 Americans taken captive in Tehran. Nightline was formed to help shed light in a dark and dangerous time. We were there then, we're still here now. For the very latest, watch ABC News Live overnight and GMA in the morning. And we'll, of course, be back here tomorrow night with much more on the war with Iran. And that's our broadcast for this evening. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.